Oh yes. So there are three distinct ways I think you could get paid apart from doing the regular ride sharing business. The regular ride sharing business, I mean, you get booked, you go, you pick up the person, you drop off the person, and you get paid. Apart from that, there are other three ways I feel like you could get paid. Listen to this. Now, the number one way is referral. Apps like Bolt will give you as high as 15K to refer a new driver. Sometimes it even goes high to like 20K. Now the beauty of it is this: whenever somebody uses your code, they also get a benefit. If they don't use any code while registering, they don't get anything. But if they use your code, they get something, you get something. Sometimes I think they get 20, you get 15, or 15, 15, something like that. But the sharing formula it changes. Okay? Refer somebody. Even on Uber, the same rule applies. The only app I think that doesn't support referral is InDrive. There's no point referring anybody in InDrive. They don't do that. They don't do promotion. But Uber and Bolt, as long as you're a new driver, you're trying to get in, try and use somebody's code. Okay? I'll leave mine in the description in case you don't have any, but you don't have to use mine. Just make sure you use somebody's code while registering. Very important, so that you get an extra bonus for completing certain number of trips within a specified period of time. So yeah, use somebody's code. So that's one way to get paid. But this is not very frequent, okay? It's not every time you find somebody who is trying to get into the business newly and hasn't registered and everything. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you can use your car to do the regular taxi business. A regular taxi, I mean, the same type of thing that you see the green taxis in Abuja do. They stop at this junction, and then they pick up people, and then they head to the next junction. They drop off people, they pick up people, they head to the next junction. For people who live in suburb areas, Suleja, Maraba, Nyanya, Gwagwalada, you know, all those areas that are not necessarily in the city of Abuja, this is very perfect for you. However, it's not something I'd advise you to do. Not something I'd advise anybody who is into ride sharing to do. I'll give you my experience. One time, when I started earlier on, maybe 2-3 years now, I was picking up people on my way, and I remember somebody kept something in the boot. It felt like, I don't know, maybe fish, frozen fish. I couldn't tell. It was at night, it was dark. I was headed home, and then I decided to pick up some people. So they kept something like a frozen fish or something in the boot, and I had this rug in my boot. So it went, I don't know if it's fish, man, but I kept washing and washing and washing. The smell won't go off. I had to literally dispose of that thing. Pissed me off till this day, because I have not been able to replace it. I hate how my boot is looking without the rug. You know, it just cozified, made it look better. Okay, but now without the rug, it's just, I don't know, it looks very dull and unattractive. Another time, another person actually spoiled the rubber that is by the door side. You know how rough these people can be. Like when they come into your car, I have a friend who even said the door handle, his door handle was broken because people were rushing to get inside. He was trying to pick up people from certain junctions. And this is one of the hazards of doing that. But you could still make some money while doing that. It doesn't always have to be rough. It doesn't always have to be a bad experience. But generally speaking, I'm just saying it's not something I'd advise you to do. First things first, I'll say stick to the business of boat and Uber. You're not a taxi, don't do a taxi. But if you must, be very careful about it. Apart from that, another hazard to that, doing that particular thing, is you have this union people, this touts and Agbero, but they call themselves union. I don't know who they are unioning for, but apparently they will arrest you, so to speak, and force you to pay at least 25,000 if they were to catch you carrying customers or passengers by the roadside without their papers, according to them. This doesn't seem fair, or there are just too many gray areas to it. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, you don't want to have that sort of day where you get caught and then You have to pay a certain amount of fee to these people, and for doing what? You didn't commit any crime. You just picked up somebody, and it's just too complicated. However, I'm still saying it's one way to make money. For instance, if you live in Zuba, Suleja, and then you were done for the day, you're trying to go home, very not likely that you will get any ride of somebody who wants to go to Suleja. Very unlikely. So you may want to pick up people from the Warimpa Express to take them all the way to those places, right? I think around the time of, let's say, 7 and all that, I think it's okay. It's fair to do that. Nobody's going to, there are no unions on the road then, but it doesn't mean you should not be careful. So that's your number 2. When you're number 3, so number 3, you have to try out interstate travel. Have you ever been to Kogi from Abuja? It's one straight road. 3 hours you would be on this road. By the way, not Kogi, I think it's Lokoja. Anyway, you enter the state of Kogi. From Zuba, straight, you will land in Lokoja. Come what may, you must land in Lokoja. It's a very straight road. I had a friend who used to do that a lot. Whenever he was tired of this ride sharing, go out, and some days are dry, some days are like this or like that, he just goes to Zuba, loads his car, go down to Kogi, and then in the evening, by evening, he's already coming back, and then he's done for the day. So that's basically 3 hours going, 3 hours coming, maybe around 8 hours. That concludes a whole day. Do you understand? Like intercity, interstate travel. Now the benefits of this is that you will get customers. They will fill up your car before you move. And then you get paid also before you go. You know how they do it, like people go to park and then they pay, and whatever formalities is being observed before they move. Okay? And then another benefit, I guess, is that you know exactly where it is you're going. You're not trying to take anybody to their house in case their home has a very weird road or route leading up to. You're just stopping at a park. So you just reach there and stop. Of course, you have to register with them. Mind you, you can't just do this, you know. You have to register with them if you're going to be using their park, unless you want to go on the roadside. But even the tout there, they are trying to load your vehicles. They are going to demand that you pay something to them. It's not for free. They're going to load your vehicle, and then you're going to have to settle them. For long distances, the settlement is usually much higher. Okay? Now, the drawbacks or the demerits to this is that, number 1, you have to deal with the touts at the park. You have to deal with them. You have to settle them. You have to buy their ticket. You have to follow their rules and their regulation. It is not very fun. Do you see how haggard and mournful most of the people who operate these taxi parks are looking? If you don't want to look like that, maybe it's not the best idea. All right? They're not always the best looking. They don't always look organized. They look all tattered, haggard, and mournful and all that, because you have to deal with the harsh weathers, and then you have to shout. Apparently, you have to shout for the customers, or I don't know, man. It's just you have to deal with the touts. If you're going to be walking from a park, you have to deal with the touts. Next is that you must go to the park. You must go to. There are certain designated areas where these people meet. Take for instance, if you want to travel, you don't sit at your home and then the car comes and take you and go to wherever you want to go to. You have to go to the park with all your luggages and everything. You have to go to the park. But by the time you get to the park, and then you book a bus, and then you sit around, and then you wait for the bus to fill up, things like that, it can be frustrating. Now, as a driver, you sitting and waiting for passenger can be frustrating. Okay? Another thing is that it basically takes away the concept of convenience. It takes away that concept, right? This is what this, let me quickly talk about Trubuka, the Trubuka app. As you know by now, we are in partnership with them. And they are not Uber and Bolt. They don't do Uber and Bolt, because Uber and Bolt is basically the answer or the solution for the taxiing business. The number 2 point I made. The taxiing business forces you to come out of your home, stand on the road, wait for the taxi, and then get dropped off not in your exact destination, but somewhere close or somewhere that is connecting to your destination. Uber and Bolt basically is a solution because there is a gap of convenience, of comfort, of ease of travel. And that's what Uber and Bolt has filled up. When it comes to interstate or intercity, InDrive was trying to fill it up. Unfortunately, the problem with InDrive is that what it pays drivers just doesn't make a lot of sense. This is what I mean. If you're going from here to, let's say, Kaduna, on InDrive, the person may be wanting to pay you something like 30k, 40k. Because to that person in his mind, if they go to a park, they'll probably pay 15. I don't even know if it's up to 15 because Kaduna is not that far actually. They'll probably pay 10, right? So why give you 40 for something that they could easily just pay 10? Even if they bought 2 seats, in the bus, they'll probably be saving a little bit more than when they have to pay to you. And you as the driver, you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to drive all the way to Kaduna. What are the chances I'll get something back? I don't even know if InDrive operates in Kaduna, by the way. I know Bolt and Uber doesn't operate everywhere, but things like InDrive, I think they also are geo-centered. They're not everywhere in Nigeria. So that is a gap, that is a drawback, isn't it? Because what this other app that we're in partnership with, TrueBooker, it's not geo-centered. It basically works in and around every city and every state in Nigeria. So if you were to travel from here to Niger State, there are people in Niger State who already use TrueBooker. There are customers there who would most likely book you to come back. Okay? And again, another factor that the TrueBooker app is addressing is the idea of convenience and comfort. Now, on the TrueBooker app, you don't have to go to the park. The driver, you as a driver, you don't have to go to the park to get passengers. The TrueBooker app basically connects passengers to you. You go on your app and you be like, I'm leaving for Kogi around 6 a.m. such and such date. Another person, a customer, looks at it and is like, yes, I would like to leave for Kogi at the same time and at the same date. And then you as the driver get to be like, okay, let's meet in this position or this location or that location. Much more conveniently, you as the driver would just rather drive towards the person if the person's house is not so dingy and somewhere inside God knows what. You could just drive by, pick the person up, pick up their luggage. Hopefully it's not too much because that's also another thing you want to avoid. Pick them up, pick up their luggage, and then head on to the same Kogi. We're getting to that season now where people travel a lot, where you might want to travel. So why travel empty? Even if you have just the one seat in your vehicle. For instance, you're a family man, you're traveling, your wife is traveling, maybe you have 2 kids. They're also traveling. Now, you still have like 2 seats left in the back. 2 or 1, depending on how many people you want to carry. You could literally still book and go on TrueBooker and say, you know what, I have 1 seat available. I'm going to Enugu State. Somebody who is available at this date, at this time, can just join me. For this price, you also get to pick the price, right? So what TrueBooker is doing is that it is closing up the gap when it comes down to interstate and intercity travel. You don't have to go to the park, Peace Park, GIG Park, GGO Park, all of it. No, you don't have to go there. The driver would most likely come to you. Most likely come to you. Or he'll tell you where you can meet. Somewhere of ease and convenience as well. And then you can also tell the customer, no, I don't want big bags. Don't come with a sack of God knows what. And then you are hoping that everything is going to, if you're going to bring an extra luggage, I'm going to charge you extra. You can literally say that on the app. That's the beauty of it. This is why we're in partnership with them. Because this project it looks like it has everything. It has all the answers. It needs drivers though. It needs drivers. Right now, the drivers, there's so many, what do you call them? There's so many people joining in on a daily basis, drivers, so to speak. So why don't you be one of them? Let's all join in this project. If not for anything, the season is here. If you are going to be traveling, even not too far, even if you're just traveling from here to Suleja or Gwagwalada, it's still a trip, it's still a journey. And somebody would be willing to go with you. So join the project because it needs drivers to make what it has going on happen, right? To bring everything to fruition, to bring everything to reality. It needs you, it needs me. So I'm still admonishing us to be a part of that project because truly the app is like one of a kind and it's literally bridging the gap. It's not like Uber, it's not like Bolt, it is bridging the gap because the difference between it and InDrive as well is that while I'd already explained that InDrive will charge one person a lot of money to go on a trip, okay, unless that one person can find several other people to share the money with, but that's always not very likely. But as one passenger, I could connect to a true booker driver who wants to take from me 15,000 as opposed to 10,000 at the park. 15,000 to go to certain location, and I would gladly pay 15,000 for convenience and comfort. For convenience and comfort. If this person gets to come to me, I put in my load and then we go and I know that this person is going straight. It's not like one of those things where you go to the park and it's like, no, this one don't fool, no, wait for this other one, no, whatever, man. They're trying to tie up certain things at the end of the car or above the car. You just know that there is that convenience. You know that there is that comfort. And by the way, as the driver, you get to keep 93% of the profit. True Booker takes 7%. 7%. I just feel like we have to be a part of it. We definitely need to at least give it a chance. Give it a trial. Get in on it and see how it goes, especially when they launch. Okay? So, remember 3 ways. Number 1, the referral. Number 2, the taxiing. And number 3, interstate or intercity. If you must do interstate and intercity, I would highly recommend TrueBooker. If you will do taxiing, I will highly recommend you do the regular ride sharing like Uber and Bolt. And then if you do referral, of course do referral. And don't forget, use a code. I'll leave mine in the description. If you don't have any to use, you can use that of a friend, that of a colleague, but just make sure you use a code when registering, okay? I'll see you in the next one. Bye.